Great. Okay, silence.
You know how
So,
to cut and like you're gonna cut and stuff.
oh
Right?
yeah,
So,
we're gonna edit. Actually, I got a guy in Los Angeles that's gonna do all the editing here.
Okay.
So let's just start off here. How old are you?
29.
29. What is your drug of choice?
Heroine, actually.
How do you?
I used to never say that, but I'm comfortable enough now that I used to just say whatever I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
But if I had a choice sitting in front of me, it would definitely be the bags. Unfortunately.
Do you shoot it?
No, never have.
You snort it?
Mm-hmm. I always say that I will never shoot it because I know I'll never come back from it. But I feel I already am not coming back from it.
How often do you have to do it a day?
Every 2 hours.
And so do you buy enough to last you through the whole day?
I try to. Well, I try to get, I try to have what I buy last me through the day, Some is more some days than others, depending on what I'm dealing with my husband and with my life. I try to shut myself down, but most of, like, lately I've just been trying to, get enough just to get me through so I don't have to get sick or worry about any of that.
How much do you spend a day?
Just about $40. $40. It's a lot of money, that's for sure.
$40 a day. Where do you have to go to get it? Do you have to drive to a dangerous section?
No. The guy, not now, but yes, and yeah, the guy I've had now I've had for 6 months, and it's just him, and that's it. But before that, yeah, I was going to bad areas and trying to hide myself who I am because everybody knows people, and I was too afraid. I was afraid, so I would go out of the way into bad areas, so where nobody knew me, just to get what I needed.
Did you ever have to go to like Hartford and drive through the ghetto? And
I live right next to the ghetto in Hartford, so yeah. It's not something I like.
Did you ever get into a dangerous or scary situation when you were buying heroin?
Luckily enough, no.
You ever got scared or?
No. Funny enough, the first time I've ever gotten scared was actually the other night. I had somebody bring me to my dealer's house after work because I had no way of getting to him and he had no way of getting to me. And the person who brought me there, they couldn't bring me home, so they dropped me off there. It was at midnight, and it was in a really, really bad part of Hartford. And I thought that I would easily be able to get home, and I couldn't. I was standing on the corner for 2 hours waiting for a cab, and I was scared, really scared. And that's the first time in 6 years that I've ever put myself in a situation like that, and I was hating myself for it.
Is it who do you buy off of? Is it black guys or white guys?
No, it's a Spanish guy.
Spanish guy.
Yeah, and he does it himself too. So that's the reason why I go to him, because I know it'll be good.
Getting high on his own supply, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, he sells so he can get high.
Oh, right.
Right.
Right. How old were you? Well, let's just start off. When you were young, tell me about your gateway to drugs. Like, how did it progress?
Well, I always smoke weed, always. There's gonna be a marijuana.
Do you still smoke weed now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but when I was, I don't know, like 14, I had a boyfriend, and we dibbled and dabbled in like Adderalls and cocaine and all that kind of stuff. And, but when
did you break the Adderall up and snort it, or did you just swallow it?
Yeah, we broke it up. But when I was 14 or 15, I got into I was a cheerleader. I got into a bad cheerleading accident, and they put me on Vicodin.
Oh, this is where it starts.
Mm-hmm. And then Percocets.
Were you snorting those?
Not yet. I mean, no, not for 3-4 years. I was on Percocets for 4 years, And then
How old were you at that point?
by the 4th year, I was 18 or 19. And then they put me on oxys. I was going through physical therapy. I was asking. At that time, they didn't have the surgeries like they do now, where it's like in and out type of thing.
Yeah.
For my back, and they put me on oxys, and they put me on oxy 10s, and that's when you could snort oxys. You can't snort them anymore.
Why can't you snort them anymore?
They've made it to where it turns into gel, and there's even people who know how to do it. They melt it, and then they freeze it, and then they take it out of the freezer and grate it up, and then they still snort it.
So when they mixed, when they made the oxys, and I know about this too, I hear a lot of people talk about this. When they made the oxys so you can no longer snort them, that was an easy way just to go to dope. Would you say
No, not for me. What happened with, and for a lot of people, yes. I know a lot of people that are like, oh, it's cheaper, dope is cheaper, and you don't have to worry about putting it in the freezer and melting it and all this kind of stuff. And yes, they went straight to it, but I mean, it's kind of a long way out for me. Like, what happened with me was I got pregnant, and they didn't want me getting off the oxys myself because they said I could lose my son. So they put me on this medicine called methadone. Never heard of it before, didn't know what it was for. They put me into a detox program. It was a 5 days to get me off of the oxys. I was 3 months pregnant. They put me on methadone while I was in there. After the 4th day, I'm asking them when they're going to take me off the methadone because I'm going to be going home in 2 days. And they looked at me and they said, no, you're going to be on methadone your whole pregnancy. I lost it, because then I realized my son was going to have to detox off of methadone. And
You lost what?
my mind.
Oh,
not the baby.
Not the baby. Okay.
Sorry. And I lost it, because thinking, and then I'm going to be considered a drug addict from all my doctors on methadone, when in my mind, I didn't really have a problem at that time, 6 months after my son was born, they started detoxing me off the methadone, and that was hard. Like, especially with my back and everything like that, because the methadone gets into your bones, it just gets into you. And with everything that was going on with my back, once I was coming off, it made my back like 10 times worse. And somebody was like, oh, why don't you try a bag? And I think someone had given me a bag like years before, and I hated it. I was throwing up, I was sick. For like 2 days off of one bag. And I'm like, no, I don't like that stuff,
Yeah.
That's not my thing. I like uppers. And one day I did it, and it took my pain away. It took my pain from, the abuse from my husband away. It took, it just numbed me and all the drama I was going through in my head, it just took it all away. And from there, I would get like 3-4 bags a day, just enough so, I wouldn't do it for more than 3 days because, you get sick if you do it for more than 3 days if you try to get off of it. So it stayed like that for months and months, and then I got cocky, and I'm like, oh, I'll get a whole bundle. I'll get 2 bundles, and it would be like a week, 2 weeks I would go. And then I'd realize that I was getting sick. I was addicted to it, and that was maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago. And it's just been constant since then. So, I've been into rehab twice because my husband threatened to leave me when he found out. And he didn't even know. Like, he found like 1 or 2 bags, and I told him I was doing it. To this day, he still doesn't know how serious it is.
But so he knows you're on it. He knows you do it, though.
No.
Right now, he doesn't.
No.
So that is a secret from everyone, pretty much, except your dealer.
Yeah.